Hello, I'm lesbian fiction author Kiki Archer, and my 10th and final novel, Say You'll Love Me Again, is out now. I'm going to read you the first chapter to whet your appetite. So, Say You'll Love Me Again by Kiki Archer. Chapter 1. The clock ticked quietly in the corner of the room. Steady, stable, safe. A comforting heartbeat that filled the silence. Sophie closed her eyes. Was it comforting? Or was it horrifying? The tick symbolising the present, only there for a split second, before the tock pushed the present into the past. Tell me what happened. Sophie stayed silent. Happened. The tock came again. It happened. Then it was gone. She waited for the tick. How self-indulgent, she thought, to spend the fleeting moments we have in the present talking about the past. It will help, Sophie. I promise. And that's the end of chapter 1. Obviously, I will read on because chapter 1's just a little bit of a teaser. So, the first time ever, I'm reading you the first 2 chapters. Chapter 2. I miss her so much. Sophie felt her nostrils flare. It was that all too familiar first stage of her tears. Her jaw would tense next, as her back teeth bit together, in the vain hope the control would rise up against the quivering onslaught of the rest of her face, her forehead and eyebrows joining in the betrayal with flickers of uncontrollable pain. Sophie closed her eyes, having learnt the only way to regain composure was to keep her jaw clenched, her brow furrowed and her nostrils wide, as she drew in a breath, which she held for as long as possible, while shaking her head, as if willing the emotion away. She exhaled slowly. Her friend's voice from the armchair opposite was gentle. You have to open up to me. I know, managed Sophie, as her nostrils danced some more. She looked to the wooden floor, her whole face clenched in a scrunched up mess of dying composure. It's just so hard, she said, as she pulled down on her sweater sleeves, ready to absorb any escaping tears. No one knows, and I've had no one to talk to. Her words faltered as the tears started to flow. I'm so lost, Laura, and I'm so alone. The gentle voice snapped and rose an octave. I've always been here for you! Sophie balled her fists into her sleeves, wiping her cheeks roughly before pushing herself up from the sofa. I knew this was a bad idea. Sorry, it's not. I'm still learning. Please forgive me. Sit down. Let me try again. You're judging me. I knew you'd judge me. The last thing a life coach does is judge their clients. So what was that? That was your friend, shocked to find out one of her closest friends hasn't been able to talk to her. Sophie shook her head. I didn't plan on talking to you today. You said it would be all about empowerment and identity. But then you went and did that thing where you asked if I was okay. And you faltered for that second too long. And you didn't say anything. Rule number 1 of the life coach. Use the silences. Sophie looked down and found the knot on the floorboard she'd befriended earlier. She scuffed it with the toe of her shoe. Silences don't make me talk. You just talked in that silence. But I didn't say anything worthwhile. You did in the silence before. And anyway, everything you say tells a story. Right now, you're deflecting. Sophie's laugh wasn't intended. Are you actually being serious? You said I was doing you a favour. You said you needed a case study for your certificate, realising potential. But you're just sitting in that armchair like M from James Bond. This is a pixie cut. It's not an old woman's hairstyle. It's sophisticated and grown up. Laura adjusted the fall of her short fringe. "You've just told me something huge. Let me help you." "I didn't mean to tell you." "I know. It came out in one of my tactical silences." Pulling on her sleeves again, Sophie bit the inside of her lip before shaking her head, trying desperately hard to stop more tears from falling. "Oh, Laura, she's broken my heart into 1,000 tiny pieces. But all I want to do is pick them up and place them right back in her hands." The screech was loud. "You loved her!" "I love her." "Oh God, Sophie, just sit down, would you?" "I can't. Everything reminds me of her, which makes it so hard to forget about her. The last thing I need to do is sit down and talk about her. It's over." "Why do you have to forget about her?" "Because she told me to get lost." "Oh, what a bitch. How dare she? Who is she? Show me a picture. Do I know her? Why haven't you told me about her? About women? Is she your first? Honestly, Sophie, where has this come from? Have you always felt like this? Have you ever felt like this about me?" "I'm not sure life coaching's meant to go like this." "Sod the life coaching, I just want the gossip." "And that's why I've stayed quiet. This is the realest thing that's ever happened to me, and I don't want it degraded into something it's not. It's fine, honestly. I'll just figure this out on my own." Sophie sniffed at the reality of the words. "I chose to keep the highs quiet, so it's only fair I keep the lows quiet too. Calmer, I guess. To suffer on my own. To cry." Stepping around the small coffee table, Laura reached out for her friend's hands. "Crying's how your heart speaks when your lips can't explain the pain you feel." Life Coaching 101? I saw it on Instagram, but I can do this. I can help you. Let me help you. Please sit down and be my client. We'll do things properly. This fits in with the resilience part of the certificate, navigating those inevitable bumps in the road. Sophie pulled her hands out of her friend's, hiding them back in her jumper. "This is so much more than a bump in the road. I honestly don't know if I can recover from this, if I can return to the person I was before." "So sit down, talk about it, tell me what you mean." "Honestly, I'd rather not." "Would it help if I promised to keep our sessions private, even from us, as if you're a stranger who's just walked in? The second you leave the room, you're my friend again, and I won't mention anything we've discussed in here." Sophie couldn't swallow her splutter of disbelief. "I know you. There's no way you could do that." "Confidentiality. It's a big part of life coaching." Laura started to pace behind her armchair. "Imagine I cross paths with a client in town. Now imagine they're with their wife. Imagine that client's been moaning to me about said wife. Let's say he's told me about the kinky shit she likes in bed, the kinky shit he's uncomfortable with. I'll have to say hi to her like I don't know she's into doctors and nurses." Sophie laughed. "My turn to coach you. Doctors and nurses isn't kinky. And if you're going to be a life coach, you can't be judgmental. And why would clients be talking to you about their sex lives anyway? I thought life coaching was all about empowering people to achieve their goals." "Their professional goals and their personal goals." Laura returned to her armchair. "Sit down. I can empower you and this mystery woman to play nurses and nurses if you like." Sophie gave a mirthless laugh before giving in and slumping back on the sofa. "Jazz and I would definitely both be doctors." "Jazz? This bitch is called Jazz!" "Jasmine. She uses jazz on stage." "Why does she need a stage name? Is she a showgirl?" "What do you mean showgirl? Why's your mind automatically gone to showgirl? What is a showgirl anyway?" "Oh, Sophie, are we doing this or not?" "I don't know. Are we?" Looking around the space, Sophie had to admit that Laura had tried to get the setup correct. The not-so-small 4th reception room in Laura's parents' not-so-small 3-storey house had been decorated with no expense spared. "Where's your armchair from?" she asked, returning her attention to the plush leather. "You're deflecting, but it was shipped over from Italy. Look how deep set these buttons are. It's the finest upholstery money can buy." "And this sofa?" asked Sophie, stroking the cushion next to her. "Oh, that's just DFS, but top of the range, mind. But I felt it important to differentiate between life coach and client." "And the plants?" Sophie signalled towards the tall topiary framing the French windows and neat garden. "I had a feng shui expert in. She worked with Mum's interior designer. Apparently, the best look for a therapist's room is simple, ordered and neutral, but with a personalised softness displayed through family photos and children's drawings." "You're 23, Laura, and you're an only child with no offspring." "Exactly. So I chose that painting. Dad commissioned an artist. It complements the light green theme of the room." Sophie followed the nod and twisted to the wall behind her. She hadn't noticed it when she walked in. "Okay," she managed after a long frown. "I can see it's you, but where are you? And where did you get those kids from?" "I'm working in the paddy fields with some Indian children. Look how they're crowding around me." "Have you been to India?" "No, but I went on that gap year to Corfu." "You were gone for 3 weeks." "It's an artist's impression, it's fine. It does the job." Laura waved her hands at their surroundings. "I'm serious about this. And I know everyone's probably thinking it's just another venture funded by my deep-pocketed parents, but I'm enjoying the course and I want to get my certificate so I can do this properly. And yes, while life coaches don't need qualifications, I want something to add to my presentation wall over there to show that I really do mean business." Sophie peered at the wall. "What's that certificate that's already up?" "Oh, that's my grade 1 piano. Another personal touch." Laura nodded. "So are you comfortable?" "Not really." "Well, let's ease ourselves in." Laura smiled. "Hi, I'm Laura and I'm going to be your life coach." Sophie couldn't help but smile back. "I'm Sophie." "So, I'm going to provide you with the tools to confidently face any difficult situations in your life. I'm going to help you push past any emotional barriers you may be experiencing. I'm not going to be an agony aunt, and I'll never attempt to tell you what to do." The monologue faltered as the laminate sheet that had been resting on the coffee table was lifted. "Life coaching's all about objectivity, structure and empowerment, not instruction or indoctrination." Laura returned her attention and nodded at her friend. "Basically, Sophie, I'm going to give you the power to help yourself. I won't be offering advice, opinions or judgment, as that underestimates and undermines the basic principle behind life coaching. You already have the answers. You just need a little help in finding them." She nodded again. "It's like this. I won't be controlling the JCB. I'll simply be by your side with a shovel. Happy?" "As I'll ever be." "Was that good? Did you like that analogy? We were told to think of one that would illustrate our role." "We're working together. I get it. You won't judge me. You won't offer your opinion." "Correct. So you won't react when I tell you I've had 6 months of magical chaos?" Laura cleared her throat. "I won't. Or that it was the realest, surest thing I've ever known." The cough came again. "Nope. Or that I feel in the deepest, most honest part of me that I've found my soulmate." "Soulmates don't tell each other to get lost." Laura paused. "Sorry. Start at the beginning. I've got this. We've got this. Just tell me your story." "This isn't a story, Laura. This is my life." And that's the end of the start of Say You'll Love Me Again, and it is out now. So please go and buy it, check it out, read it, enjoy it. Thank you. Bye bye.